Hello, beautiful damsels. Some people will love you, some will hate you, and some won't even know how to approach you. And that's where the Sigma female thrives. Sigma females are a rare breed. They don't fit the typical molds, and that makes them all the more fascinating and intimidating. While introverts are seen as quiet and alphas are perceived as dominant, the Sigma female is a silent storm. Independent, enigmatic, and unapologetically authentic, they don't just break societal rules, they refuse to acknowledge them altogether. Fun fact, studies suggest that only a small percentage of women truly embody the Sigma archetype. They're not just lone wolves, they're strategic wolves with a map, compass, and zero need for permission. But like any force of nature, there are things they can't stand. And when something rubs a Sigma the wrong way, expect them to either leave without a word or dismantle the situation with surgical precision. So buckle up, because we're diving into the top 10 things that Sigma females truly detest. And trust me, you don't want to be on the wrong side of any of these. Consider this your survival guide. Number 1. Faux humility. False humility is one of those traits that rubs Sigma females the wrong way because it's painfully transparent. You know the type, the person who acts like they're just lucky to have achieved something incredible. Or the one who says, "I'm not that great," when deep down, they're fishing for validation. Sigma females see right through this act. To them, it's not modesty. It's insecurity dressed up as humility. What makes it even worse is how unnecessary it is. Sigma females believe that if you've worked hard and achieved something remarkable, you should own it unapologetically. They respect people who are proud of their efforts, even if they're not the loudest in the room. Bragging is one thing, but genuine confidence is never a problem. In fact, Sigmas admire it. But false humility, it's performative and awkward. It creates a social game that Sigma females refuse to play. They're not here to shower anyone with reassurances or compliments just to boost an already inflated ego. If someone needs constant affirmation, they'll simply lose interest. Life is too short for tiptoeing around fragile self-images. What's worse is when people weaponize false humility to manipulate others, acting small to disarm competition or guilt-trip someone into admiration. Sigma females have no time for these tactics. They prize authenticity, and any attempt to twist humility into a social power move will backfire quickly. Ultimately, Sigma females would rather deal with someone who's straightforward, even blunt, than someone hiding behind a mask of self-deprecation. They believe true confidence is quiet but firm. If you've earned your success, wear it with pride. Anything less is just a waste of everyone's time. Number 2. Fake feminism. Sigma. Females have zero patience for fake feminism, the kind that's all talk and no action, or that only serves the privileged. They see right through performative gestures like posting feminist quotes for likes or wearing empowering slogans without backing it up with real support or advocacy. To them, it's not feminism if it's just a trend or a social badge of honor. What really bothers them is how this kind of empty activism dilutes the movement. True feminism is about breaking down barriers, challenging inequality, and lifting up all women, especially those facing the greatest obstacles. When it's reduced to catchy phrases or events that cater to an elite few, it loses its core mission. Sigma females are passionate about inclusivity and substance, not surface-level performances. Even worse, they despise when fake feminism is used as a weapon. Some people talk the feminist talk, but the moment it threatens their power, they abandon the cause. Others may use feminism as a shield to avoid accountability for their actions, manipulating the movement for personal gain. This level of hypocrisy is a major deal-breaker for a Sigma. Sigma females believe in walking the talk. They're all about actions, mentorship, advocacy, standing up for others when it's uncomfortable, and pushing for systemic change, not just superficial reforms, and they hold themselves to the same standard. They won't use feminism as a prop to gain social clout. They'll embody its principles in every part of their lives. Ultimately, Sigma females value feminism as a tool for genuine empowerment, not self-promotion. They respect those who are in it for the long haul, the ones who do the work even when no one's watching. Anything less? It's just noise to them, and they won't hesitate to tune it out. Number 3, celebrity worship culture. Celebrity worship culture is a baffling phenomenon to Sigma females. The endless obsession with who wore what, who dated whom, and who posted what on social media feels like noise with no real value. To them, fame without substance is hollow. They don't care how many followers you have or how many magazine covers you've graced. If there's no genuine talent or innovation behind it, it's just surface-level fluff. Sigma females are wired to respect creators, thinkers, and doers. The people who actually make something meaningful or push boundaries in a significant way. They admire writers who tell raw stories, scientists who solve real-world problems, artists who pour authenticity into their work, and entrepreneurs who build from the ground up. It's not about being famous, it's about creating impact. This disdain for celebrity culture doesn't mean they're oblivious to pop culture. They just have no patience for idolizing people solely for their status. A perfectly curated Instagram feed or a reality TV show doesn't earn their admiration. If anything, it's a turnoff. To them, the entire influencer culture that thrives on consumerism and superficiality feels like a house of cards waiting to collapse. What Sigma females truly can't stand is how celebrity worship can create a culture of comparison and conformity. People imitate trends without thinking or try to live vicariously through celebrities' lives instead of carving out their own paths. This mindset is anathema to the Sigma female's core belief in individuality and self-reliance. At the end of the day, Sigma females are drawn to substance over spectacle. Fame for fame's sake will never impress them. They're not here to follow the crowd. They're here to blaze their own trails and admire those who do the same. Number 4. Transactional relationships. Transactional relationships are a huge no-go for Sigma females because they strip relationships of authenticity. These are the kinds of relationships where every action feels like a tally on a scoreboard. I did this for you, so now you owe me. Whether it's disguised as generosity or framed as friendship, Sigma females can sniff out this kind of behavior almost immediately. To them, it's not just manipulative, it's exhausting. Sigma females believe relationships should be rooted in mutual respect and shared connection, not some unspoken exchange of favors. They don't want to be around people who are constantly measuring how much they're giving versus how much they're getting. If someone is only there for what they can gain, a Sigma will cut ties quickly and without fanfare. There's no need for a dramatic exit, just a quiet, decisive walk away. Stepping stone behavior is another red flag. Using relationships as a means to climb a social or career ladder is both transparent and deeply off-putting. Sigma females have no time for people who pretend to be close just to get ahead. They know their worth and refuse to be reduced to a tool in someone else's self-serving agenda. More importantly, they don't play social games. They won't offer emotional support or favors just to bank points for later. If they help or support someone, it's because they want to, not because they're expecting payback. Sigma females thrive in relationships that are based on honesty and reciprocity, not transactions and hidden agendas. They value depth and authenticity over convenience and gain. Anyone operating with ulterior motives, they'll be out of a Sigma's life faster than they can say, "But I thought we were friends." Number 5. Mediocrity. Dressed as excellence, Sigma females have an almost allergic reaction to mediocrity dressed as excellence. They can spot it a mile away, the person who barely put in the work but still basks in undeserved praise, or the system that hands out accolades just for showing up. Participation trophies, empty compliments, or half-baked ideas that somehow get hailed as revolutionary. It all feels like a slap in the face to those who actually put in the sweat and effort. What irks Sigma females the most is the dilution of true achievement. They value grit, determination, and relentless self-improvement, the kind that's earned through late nights, failures, and getting back up time and again. When they see people skipping the hard part and still being applauded, it's not just annoying, it's downright disrespectful. They're especially critical of systems that reward mediocrity under the guise of fairness. In their eyes, equality doesn't mean everyone gets the same result, no matter the effort. True fairness is acknowledging real effort and real results. By lowering the bar and calling it greatness, society not only discourages genuine excellence but also promotes complacency. And that's a concept Sigma females can't tolerate. This doesn't mean they're perfectionists or snobs. They're not looking for everyone to be superhuman. They just want honesty in how we assess and reward effort. If someone is still learning or growing, that's fine. Own it. But don't pretend average effort deserves the same applause as true mastery. For Sigma females, excellence is earned, not handed out. It's not about perfection. It's about giving everything you've got. Anything less? They'll see it for exactly what it is, mediocrity in a fancy disguise. And they're not sticking around for the charade. Number 7. Fear-based living. Fear-based living is something Sigma females outright reject. Whether it's societal pressures that dictate how they should behave or self-imposed doubts that try to hold them back, they simply don't entertain it. They understand that fear is a natural emotion, but allowing it to dictate their choices, absolutely not. Sigma females choose to move through fear, not be paralyzed by it. One of the things they detest most is environments built on fear and intimidation. Workplaces that operate on constant threats, whether overt or subtle, won't last long in a Sigma female's world. The boss who leads through manipulation, the peer group that enforces conformity through social pressure, or any dynamic that thrives on keeping people small and scared, will quickly find themselves on the losing end of a Sigma's patience. What sets Sigma females apart is their determination to make decisions based on their values, not their fears. They won't stick with a toxic job just because they're scared of financial instability. They won't stay in relationships because they're afraid of being alone. And they certainly won't mold themselves to fit societal expectations if it means betraying who they really are. People who weaponize fear as a control tactic are especially frustrating to them. Sigma females can smell manipulation a mile away, and they're not playing those games. They believe that fear is often used as a tool by insecure people to maintain power, and they refuse to feed that dynamic. At their core, Sigma females believe that growth, freedom, and authenticity come from stepping outside of fear's shadow. Life is too short to be dictated by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. If something isn't serving their growth or happiness, they'll walk away without looking back. No intimidation necessary. Number 8. Competitiveness. Rooted in insecurity, Sigma females have no tolerance for competitiveness rooted in insecurity. They can instantly spot when someone's actions are motivated not by genuine ambition, but by an overwhelming need to prove their worth. Whether it's passive-aggressive comments, subtle digs, or one-upmanship, these behaviors come off as desperate and juvenile to a Sigma. What makes it even more annoying is how transparent it all is. Insecure people often mask their fears of inadequacy with bravado or constant comparison. But Sigma females don't play those games. They're not here to compete for attention, validation, or approval because their self-worth is internal. They already know who they are, so why waste energy trying to prove it to others? Insecure power moves, like bragging about meaningless achievements, throwing others under the bus to get ahead, or creating unnecessary rivalries, are downright laughable to them. If someone's entire sense of identity hinges on being the best or tearing others down, Sigma females won't engage. They see those tactics for what they really are, signs of deep insecurity. More importantly, Sigma females value collaboration over competition. They understand that true strength doesn't come from defeating others. It comes from lifting yourself up without comparison. If someone tries to bait them into a rivalry, they'll simply step back and let the other person fight with their own ego. In the end, Sigma females respect confidence and authenticity, not empty displays of dominance. They'll happily cheer for others' successes, so long as those successes aren't being used as weapons in a battle for validation. But if someone's out to prove they're better, they'll quickly realize they're fighting a battle Sigma females never even signed up for. Number 9. Victimhood as an identity. Sigma females deeply respect resilience. Overcoming adversity with strength and grace is something they admire. However, they have zero patience for people who wear victimhood as a permanent badge of identity. To them, facing hardships is part of life, but using those hardships to fish for attention or manipulate others is where they draw the line. What's most frustrating to a Sigma female is the mindset that some people adopt when they make being a victim central to who they are. Instead of acknowledging struggles and working to grow beyond them, they wallow in self-pity and seek constant validation for their suffering. Sigma females can empathize with pain, but they won't support someone who refuses to move forward. Even worse is when victimhood becomes a tool for control. Some people use their hardships to gain sympathy or avoid accountability, shifting blame to others whenever things go wrong. This kind of behavior doesn't sit well with Sigma females because it undermines genuine resilience. They believe in taking ownership of your story, even if it's messy or painful, not using it as a crutch. Sigma females are all about empowerment, not enabling. They understand that acknowledging adversity is healthy, but wallowing in it indefinitely only breeds bitterness and stagnation. If someone needs support, they're more than willing to offer it, so long as it's part of an effort to heal and grow. Ultimately, Sigma females respect those who can transform their pain into power. Life's struggles may knock you down, but staying down? That's a choice they won't support. They admire those who rise, not those who cling to their suffering as a source of identity. For Sigmas, strength comes from moving forward, not staying stuck. Number 10. Censorship of unpopular opinions. Sigma females have a deep-seated aversion to the censorship of unpopular opinions. They believe that the ability to think critically and challenge the status quo is essential to personal growth and societal progress. To them, the suppression of divergent viewpoints isn't just limiting, it's a direct assault on intellectual freedom. The idea that certain opinions must be silenced because they don't align with the mainstream narrative strikes them as a dangerous step toward stagnation. For Sigma females, debate is not about winning or losing. It's about expanding perspectives. They respect the art of having uncomfortable conversations, even when the opinions being expressed are unpopular or controversial. To them, every viewpoint has value if it's offered in good faith, and shutting down ideas simply because they make people uncomfortable is a shortcut to mediocrity. They won't back down from a conversation just because the majority of people agree on something. Sigma females understand that the most important conversations often happen at the edges of conventional thought, and they're more than willing to challenge prevailing opinions if they believe it will lead to deeper understanding or innovation. Moreover, they're not afraid to express their own unpopular opinions either. Sigma females are confident in their ability to think for themselves, and they believe that their voice is just as important as anyone else's, regardless of how much it rocks the boat. They value open dialogue over conforming to a safe groupthink mentality. In a world where people often shy away from engaging with ideas they don't agree with, Sigma females stand firm in their belief that critical thinking is essential. They won't let fear of judgment or backlash suppress their freedom to speak and explore ideas, and they expect the same from others. For them, intellectual freedom isn't optional. It's a non-negotiable right. Number 11. Cookie cutter. Ambitions. For Sigma females, cookie cutter ambitions are a non-starter. They see life as an open canvas, and they're not interested in painting by numbers. Society often pushes certain goals: climbing the corporate ladder, owning a house, marrying by a certain age. But for Sigma females, those checklist ambitions feel suffocating and unimaginative. They aren't going to follow a preset path just because it's expected of them, and they certainly aren't going to live their lives in someone else's shadow. What Sigma females truly value is individuality, crafting ambitions that reflect their unique values, desires, and passions. They see personal fulfillment as a journey, not a destination. So the idea of pursuing something just because it's the next step or what everyone else is doing, it's boring to them. They want their goals to feel real, raw, and rooted in their own authentic desires. They're not here to live out someone else's dream. They're here to create their own. They're not against ambition, far from it. Sigma females are incredibly driven, but their ambitions are always self-defined. They may aim to revolutionize an industry, create art that speaks to the soul, or live a life of freedom and adventure. Whatever it is, their goals are driven by passion, not pressure. They thrive on the freedom to carve their own path, and they resent any external force telling them what success should look like. For Sigma females, following the crowd is the ultimate form of mediocrity. They know that real greatness comes from embracing their individuality and striving for what truly matters to them, regardless of what anyone else thinks. They aren't interested in fitting into any mold, they're far more interested in breaking it. Number 12. Authority without substance. Sigma females couldn't care less about titles. To them, authority without substance is nothing more than a hollow shell. Whether you're a CEO, a manager, or hold any prestigious title, it doesn't matter if you don't back it up with integrity, competence, or genuine value. They've seen enough inflated egos to know that a fancy job title doesn't automatically equate to leadership. If you're not competent at what you do, or you're pretending to know more than you actually do, they'll see right through you, and they won't hesitate to disengage. For Sigma females, respect is earned through actions, not a string of letters after your name. Titles are just symbols. They're not indicators of real skill or personal character. They don't bow down to authority for the sake of hierarchy, and they have no patience for power that's built on illusion. A title might get you in the door, but it's what you do once you're inside that matters. They value authenticity, and that's the foundation they build their relationships and interactions on. If someone is in a position of authority, but lacks the necessary knowledge or moral backbone to back it up, they won't waste time pretending to respect them. Sigma females aren't afraid to challenge authority when it's not grounded in substance, and they're not concerned with rocking the boat if they feel something isn't right. At the end of the day, for Sigma females, what truly matters isn't the position you hold, but the integrity and competence you bring to it. If you lack both, your title is nothing but a costume. They can spot the difference between someone who commands respect through real ability and someone who is simply holding the title. And it's the former they will gravitate toward, not the latter. In the end, Sigma females aren't interested in playing by anyone else's rules or settling for anything less than authenticity. They walk a path that is uniquely their own, defined by values that are unapologetically theirs. Whether it's rejecting cookie-cutter ambitions, dismantling false displays of power, or opting out of fear-driven decisions, Sigma females remain unwavering in their pursuit of true freedom, freedom to be themselves, to think critically, and to challenge the status quo without apology. Their world isn't one where mediocrity can thrive or performative gestures can pass as substance. It's a world where integrity, competence, and individuality are the standards. It's a world where true strength comes from within, not from the validation of others or the approval of fleeting trends. And if you don't fit into that world, well, they'll simply leave you behind, no drama, no hesitation, because they've got bigger, more meaningful things to do. So if you're hoping to fit into their world, you better bring something real. Sigma females don't follow. They lead, they innovate, and they remain true to themselves at all costs. It's an uncompromising existence, but one that is defined by profound strength, unshakable self-respect, and the kind of independence that sets them apart from the crowd. And for them, that's more than enough. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Sigma females and want more content that challenges conventional thinking and celebrates individuality, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and share it with anyone who needs a reminder that true strength comes from being unapologetically yourself. Your support means the world and helps us bring more content like this to the forefront. Stay bold, stay authentic, and we'll see you in the next one.